Welcome to the program, The Secret Mental Techniques. To begin this journey, it is imperative to recognize a most puzzling fact. We live much of our lives immersed in a state of self-deception, meticulously held by ourselves. On a daily basis, we invest colossal amounts of energy and effort, without even noticing it, in keeping an illusion alive and that of being awake, when in reality we barely wake up for any emergency. We convince ourselves that we open our eyes every morning, when in truth we are still stuck in a functional dream, barely reacting to all kinds of emergencies. How can we explain that we often arrive at the office without remembering the journey from home? It's not magic. It is a routine automated by a subconscious mind that has usurped constant control over ourselves. We have to ask ourselves, why doesn't our conscious mind maintain control over ourselves? If with our conscious mind we can drive a car at 300 kilometers per hour, and with the subconscious only at 50 kilometers per hour, why do we opt for the worst option? The day is approximately 87,000 seconds long, and yet most people use their conscious mind for less than 5,000 seconds. Our subconscious mind handles us for 82,000 seconds daily. The most brilliant scientists on the planet manage to use their conscious minds for between 10,000 and 15,000 seconds a day, and in doing so they are creating real wonders. Proof of this are the rather miraculous technological advances we have. We just look at our technology. We find evidence of powers that escape the merely human. It is scientifically proven that the human body is designed to operate with capabilities that exceed the boldest dreams. It is a fact that in a single working day, I myself accomplish more than I used to do in a full month, just 5 years ago. Many would think that I have become a slave to effort, victim of endless days. But no, the key has not been fatigue, but the reinvention of my habits. By first achieving certain mental changes, it has allowed me to change old customs that were unknowingly extremely harmful for new ways of living routine life. By incorporating these new secret techniques, the results cease to be struggle and are transformed into fun. Progress becomes daily bread. Work a pleasure in the extraordinary routine. Among all these techniques, none is so powerful, as transformative as that of increasing the increasingly frequent use of our conscious mind. Every second we activate it, its capacity increases, as well as that of the internal mechanisms that allow us to use it more and more frequently and effectively. Here is the paradox. In every use of the subconscious mind, the same thing happens. Their powers and their roots are strengthened. Because of this, the subconscious mind has been becoming more and more powerful at the cost of weakening our conscious mind. This leads us to a silent and fierce battle. an intimate competition between two intelligences within us. The conscious and subconscious mind struggle to dominate, and in that frequent and exhausting conflict, many of our most painful internal wars take place. That's where our energy downturns come from, our blockages, our lack of effort, and our failures. But there is an amazing revelation. Our subconscious mind, at first reluctant and territorial, as it begins to reconcile with our conscious mind, it immediately detects the miraculous powers that the growth of our conscious mind produces. Discover new skills, connections, and synergies that were previously impossible for him to detect and develop. And when this happens, both begin to synchronize in increasing harmony, generating a mental work that reaches levels of almost divine precision. Our self-deception keeps us convinced that we understand very deeply words such as energy, knowledge, understanding, love, consciousness. We convince ourselves that we have mastered its definition, but in attempting to write down its meaning clearly, we realize how much we deceive ourselves. The first step in solving a problem is to identify it. Once we recognize this weakness, the deceitful shows its face. Self-deception is identified, and therefore, we are starting to do more and more about it. From everything we learned during the almost 2 decades we spent prisoners of the educational system, then, in the real world, especially in business, we barely managed to implement less than a scant 10%. The rest only serves to produce our self-deception and confusion. Why? Because the knowledge they imparted to us appeared to be extremely valuable at the time, but he was overcome by an unstoppable torrent of discoveries. And anyway, we continue to be rooted in him. In any year of the last century, humanity has experienced more momentous and profound technological advances than in the last 5,000 years before. And yet, the educational system is still essentially the same as it was 100 years ago. That is, not only irrational, it is a mockery of our intelligence. The most absurd thing about this situation turns out to be the language. We continue to believe that we understand each other when, in reality, we confused each other. We continue to teach and learn in terms that no one has taken the time to purify. It is imperative to put things in order, because without precision in words, there is no clarity in thought, and without clarity, there is no power. In our history, we have already been warned about what is happening. In the biblical episode of the Tower of Babel, when humans began to build ziggurats and majestic pyramids, it is said that the gods, fearful that we would become like them, they decided to sabotage our promotion. How did they do it? Confusing our tongues, fragmenting our ability to communicate, and since then, every step toward divinity has been marred by misunderstandings. Our education system, instead of teaching us to communicate masterfully what we have already learned naturally in the first years of our lives, it has complicated the simple and programs us for self-deception. It has filled with fog what was once crystalline. Therefore, the first objective of this project is to decomplicate. Let's polish the terminology we'll use to learn the secret techniques that unleash our powers. Take the term information as an example. If one is looking for a common definition, like Google's, comes across something like a set of data about some event, fact or phenomenon that organized in a given context has its meaning, whose purpose may be to reduce uncertainty or increase knowledge of something. Far from illuminating, this definition plunges the reader into an even greater sea of uncertainty and complication. What is a data? What constitutes an event? A fact, a phenomenon? What does it mean to organize in a given context? Why is one possibility mentioned and others ignored? And that, is it knowledge? This attempt at definition is like a box that, when opened, reveals 10 more, each one more complex than the last. It places us in a labyrinth with no way out. Let's propose an alternative. Information is the characteristics that emanate from everything that exists and that one communicates to oneself and to others. Here we only need to define two things. Features, the unique traits that make each thing stand out from the others. Communicate, essential synonym of repeating, to manifest something again, either towards oneself or towards another. With this clarity, we remove the fog, and in doing so, we clear the way to understanding. Techniques that not only provide us with simple definitions, but they also transform our capacity for understanding, and many other issues emerge, such as self-admiration. That's all for today. Until the next program, where simple definitions will reopen portals of understanding and generate a whole series of emerging phenomena. And don't forget to sign up for the Secret Mental Techniques Club. You will meet many people like you, and there will be many more surprises. Don't forget,